So for this next recipe, we're doing a green sauce, also known as Epis. So we have lots of different green ingredients here to go in our sauce today, lots of staples. Our first of which is going to be our julienne bell peppers. Then we have our onions and our thyme. We have a few garlic cloves here, our parsley, scallion, fresh from the garden. We have our olive oil, our vinegar, salt and pepper to taste. And then we may just add a little bit of our Scotch bonnet peppers and a squeeze of lime juice to preserve it for future use. So just like all the other easy recipes, this one is just gonna be combining and putting in our food processor. We've already broken down the parsley and other green leafy items. So we're gonna go ahead and put those over in there. And like I said before, when it comes to my seasoning and my smaller ingredients, I like to pre-mix in a bowl before I introduce into the blender. So we'll put our parsley in, our cilantro, culantro. Then we're gonna put in our bell peppers. And in this bowl right here, we're gonna put in our smaller ingredients. So I'm gonna take my thyme. I'm gonna break it up with my hand. We're gonna put our onions in there. We have our garlic, skin on for extra nutrients. And then we have our peppers. So again, less is more. For a peas or green sauce, we like for it to be a bit spicy. So we're gonna just cut this piece in half, drop that in there. Our scallions, they don't have to be diced small or anything like that. We're just gonna cut it in half. And we're saving the bottom so that we can plant in our garden for later on. Cut it up nice and big. Place it into our food processor with the other green items. Here we're gonna put our salt and our pepper. So we're gonna salt to taste, a little bit of pepper. Then we put our liquids in, so our oil. And again, as we're blending this, it's always okay to add more oil to help loosen up the blender. We start out with a little and we add more as we go. Once we have our liquids in there, we're gonna stir it around with our spoon. Make sure all the seasoning from the bottom of the bowl is incorporated throughout. And then we're gonna introduce that right into our food processor. And this time we're gonna have some oil on standby just to make our lives a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and put our lid on. Start our blender. I have my little magic stick. Alrighty. So for our green sauce, we're gonna try a little bit before we remove it from the blender to make sure that it's where we want it to be. So this is perfect. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add my lime juice. Squeeze it around in there. Now you'll start out with like a really vibrant green color. When you introduce the lime juice, it will get a little bit darker, but it still has the same amount of flavor. It's just the lime juice is kind of cooking off the other ingredients. And that's pretty much it. So now we're gonna take it, pour it into our bowl. And that is our green sauce. Mm-hmm.